It's a cold, frosty morning on the canal and I'm after perch. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I've just mixed up some brown crumb and I'm going to put that out into the swim. I'm a great believer that a crowd attracts a crowd, and although the temperature is quite low and it's fairly cool, the fish will still be there. They'll still be active if we can stimulate them into feeding. So I'm going to put out this brown crumb, first of all just to attract some small fish into the swim, roach, and they'll certainly be active in weather like this. And then the theory is that those in turn will draw the perch in. And as you saw the short clip at the start, that's the far bank. I've got overhanging trees, ideal place for fishing for perch, because like other fish, certainly in the winter when vegetation dies down, they will head for the trees, the overhanging bushes and so on. We're into winter now, but we've still got leaves on some of the trees, and that particular clump up there still got some leaves on, so that's quite good for this time of the year. As you saw there, some trees are totally devoid of leaf now, so it depends on the species. Some lose the leaves very early, others hang on in there. I'm now fishing, watching my float. Love fishing with a float. A lot of the type of angling I do is with a lead on the bottom, but it's good watching a float, isn't it? And the canal's made for that. So I'm fishing a worm on a size 10 hook, and I'm putting out red maggots. Now I've put my crumb in that little area to draw the fish in. I'm now going to feed red maggots. So how many I put out there depends on how the session goes. It is quite a cold day, as I've said, so the water temperature isn't too clever, so it's no good putting a gallon of maggots out. So I've put just a few out there, cast out my float over them in that area, and then how many or how much bait I put out from now on depends on how the session goes. Always remember, top tip, always remember that you can put bait in but you can't take it out. So be conservative in terms of how you start the session, and then of course if you're getting a bite every cast within seconds, then you can just increase the feed. Try to keep the fish competitive. So if there are just for example 10 fish out there, 10 hungry fish out there, put 9 maggots out every time. Keep them competitive. Don't put a 20 or 30 or 40. Let them work themselves into a feeding frenzy. Although at this time of the year I doubt whether a feeding frenzy is an appropriate term. Perhaps in the summer sometimes, but I'm after that one fish. Could be a good one. Let's see. I've got a little run here. That's what happens if perch picks the worm up, starts to take it down, float's moving, and hopefully this will develop into a fish. Well, that one didn't develop, but this one did, and I can tell it's a perch. You can tell these things, can't you? Just bringing it to the net. And there it is. Certainly a nice enough fish for the venue. Cast out again now. I'm happy with that, particularly as the conditions are quite cold. And as I said, it's it's an okay fish. And those comments are important to take on board, really, because we do live in a society that has influenced our angling, and we definitely have this sort of obsession with catching bigger fish. Everybody wants to catch a 10 pound this or a 20 pound that or a 30 pound something else, and you get a fish and publish that picture on the internet and you'll get loads of folks asking you, how big is it? There's this obsession with fish size. But I think it's important, as I mentioned, and I do bang that drum a little bit because I think it is a valuable point to take on board, that it's not about the actual fish weight as a standalone weight, but rather in context of the venue. And if we learn to appreciate each fish for what it is, then we'll definitely enjoy our angling more. So the place I'm at this morning, a £1 perch is a good one, and a £2 is a specimen. So if I catch a £1 fish, I'm over the moon. Whereas in this sort of weight obsessive mentality that many people get, a £1 fish is no good, because we want 3s and 4s and 5s. But learn to appreciate the venue that we fish in, and we'll definitely enjoy our angling much more. Anyway, I'm hoping to get another one. Bigger one would be nice, because I am a specimen angler after all. Even though I can appreciate all fish, I still want to catch good ones, just that I learn to take them in balance with the place that I'm actually fishing. And the worm's been picked up again, and I can see the float moving off, and I'll be ready to strike at the right moment. And that moment is now. It's a perch, but just a small one this time. It's resisting capture though. I'll show you this in a moment. Look at that, just a small one. In fact, I would say the worm was almost as long as the perch, but they all count and they're all great, whatever the size. And amazingly, that small perch that took that a decent sized worm actually took the hook down. And if there's one vital piece of equipment you need when you're perch fishing, it's a disgorger. And as you can see, I've got a couple there, and so in that particular instance, just a couple of seconds, got the disgorger down the line, took the hook out, no problem at all. Without it, I would have been looking at a fish where you've got to cut the line off because it's gone too far down to get out with your hands. And why do that? Why mess your own fishing up? But more importantly, why leave that hook in the fish? So if you don't carry a disgorger, I'm sure you do if you're an angler. But you might be a novice or sort of just getting into fishing. If you don't carry a disgorger, then definitely make sure you get one. Float's going again. I've had what I might describe as a steady trickle of perch this morning, so quite happy with that. Another small one. Small but perfectly formed. This was another disgorger job as well, but no problem at all. That's why we need to carry one. Let's get it back. Well, the video comes to an end. I hope you've picked up a few tips and encouragements along the way. I'm going to carry on fishing, and of course there will be other perch sessions during this week's Angling Journal entry. So as always, check out the article to see how I get on, and you can find the link for that in the video description box here on YouTube. If you're out and about yourself, tight lines, wrap it warm, but enjoy.